So my fucking dad.
What a way to start.
Let's go.
My fucking dad. Here we go. We're going to unload all of the issues, all of the daddy
You
issues that are
gotta
coming
hear
out.
this.
Problems.
Fucking so stupid, dude. When I tell this story, it is like you're gonna be like, "What?" You're not. You might laugh, but you're gonna be like, "That's a thing." So he goes to Europe, and all the kids pitch in, and we buy him this really expensive Gucci tracksuit. It's in Milan.
He likes that stuff, doesn't
Oh
he?
yeah.
He's all about his tracksuits.
Oh yeah. So, but it's like this is Gucci, and it's badass. Like we're talking $3,800 tracksuit. So all the kids pitch in. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. We all pitch in, get him the tracksuit. So then fast forward, it's his birthday last month. And he's like, "Hey, brother." And that's how he talks. And he's from the projects of Syracuse. My dad is legit. Scary dude, sweetheart. He's like, "Hey, brother, how about you get me them high-top Gucci's and match this suit, brother?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, let me talk to the kids about getting together and pitching in on the shoes."
He says, "Hey, brother." He calls his kids like, "Hey, brother."
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
I'll be like, "I love you, Dad." And he's like, "Hey, brother." Yeah. It's like that kind of dad. So so we buy him the shoes. I go to Neiman Marcus. They're like $900 shoes. Get the shoes, bring them to him. So he goes to Robert Glasper last night at Red Rocks.
Is he dressed
"Hey,
in his
brother,
whole-
I'm going to wear..." Oh, I got a picture, man. So,
Oh, no.
"Hey, brother, I'm gonna wear my Gucci suit and shoes to Robert Glasper." Let me just search him real quick. It's worth seeing. So
I think it's hilarious too that because I didn't know your dad was into like that kind of stuff like jazz or anything. Oh my God.
yeah, so that's like
God.
legit, like almost damn near vintage Gucci. Like that's expensive ass shit.
Wow.
So the matching suit,
Oh
like
my God.
everything's legit. So
Will you text that to me so we can put
Yes.
it on the visual?
yes, remind me.
Yeah.
So so he's got the shoes, he's got the suit, and he goes to Red Rocks. This morning I get a text. "Hey, brother, them shoes be stankin'." And I'm like, "What?
What?
What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Did you wear socks?" And he's like, "Nobody told me I had to wear socks with these."
What?
Thank you.
What?
We're gonna notice how you didn't laugh. You're like, "This can't be a real story." So I was like, "Did you wear socks?" Nobody had to. And I was like, "You wore canvas Gucci designer high tops to Red Rocks and hiked those stairs with no fucking socks? What was I supposed to do?" And I'm, "What?" And he goes, "And on another note, the suit stinks too." And I'm like, "Did you wear underwear and undershirt?" Nobody told me I needed to.
Oh, God.
Dude, you can't make this shit up. He's like, "So what do I do now?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?
Well, you can't just
What do
wash
you
it,
do?"
right?
I'm like, send him to the dry cleaner. He's like, "Gotta tell you, man, that Gucci makes some bullshit."
Wow.
Yeah, that's a true story, man.
Oh my
No
God.
socks. No socks.
Wow.
That just sounds uncomfortable. Like
Not for him.
like
He thought
canvas
that's the way you roll.
shoes. Canvas shoes with. Can you imagine that with no socks?
Yeah, no.
First of all,
sounds
designer
terrible.
shoes are very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I bet.
Like these fucking things look like an air cage. They are not.
What are those?
These are Alexander McQueen's, and these are awful.
How much were those?
Well, really?
Yeah, I want to know.
I think these were $7.95.
Oh, that's not that crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot for a pair of shoes, but it's not like
You know, like I said,
people spend a lot more on a pair of shoes.
you have different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Different shoes for different clients.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's
Got
a
you.
good point. I love the
So-
bottoms of those. Those are super
They're
cool.
super
I remember you
neat.
sent me a picture of those, and you were like, "What do you
Yeah,
think?"
that's
I
right.
was like, "I'm not into shoes, but those are fucking
They're cool.
sick."
So
yeah.
what's the discretion on the shoes for the clients thing?
There are like it's just like the car.
Yeah.
It's like some clients were like, "Oh, you're not a douchebag. You drive a Jeep," and other clients were like, "Oh, I'm happy you're a douchebag and you drive a BMW." Like, so it's like all dependent.
You
like,
don't take different cars, like, because I guess you're really only driving the X6, right?
No, I will absolutely take the family
Armada?
wagon to certain
Really?
clients. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
What
not
is-
to hide who I am.
Yeah,
it's to
yeah.
not make them feel uncomfortable.
Sure, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Totally.
Do you base that on? It's probably based more on the person rather than the price point.
It's
right?
never the price point.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
the person.
Yeah, of course.
For
That makes
sure.
sense.
No,
Also, I never fake it. Like, that makes it sound like I'm molding who I am to each person. It's not. It's like, if somebody's grandmother is offended by designer shit, then I'm not gonna fucking bring my
Sure, yeah.
blacked out rocket ship and Alexander McQueen shoes.
Yeah. You don't. It's
Yeah.
just like about not making people feel uncomfortable.
It's to
or something.
not make myself any part of the centerpiece of the appointment.
That's
house-
a really good point.
The house
Yeah.
needs to be the centerpiece.
Yeah, the
It's
show
not about
is
me.
not you. Yeah,
No.
that's a great point. I feel like
that's true.
that's probably something that a lot of realtors get wrong.
Yes, they think it's all selling sunset in that shit, and that shit ain't real, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to tell
They
everybody,
think somebody's
but
going to
all
make
those,
a show of them.
all those fucking shows are fake.
Yeah.
They're fake.
Yeah.
There is no $10 million listing in Manhattan that 2 hours later on the third episode gets an all-cash offer from a buyer's agent who's representing somebody who's representing somebody who's representing somebody.
It's like you're
That's
looking at
not
a
how it
process.
works.
You're looking at a
Right.
process that probably took months or something.
The average time on market for any house anywhere in the country outside of the boom market we had the last 2 years is 100 days. And you're going to talk about, wait, so these $32 million penthouses in New York are like, you got Frederick being like, maybe he'll take 92. Let me talk to him. And then in the same episode, it's under contract. That's all fake. None of that is real.
And is it just like a timeline sped up thing? Like, is it
No,
just like
it's fake.
it's
It is
fully
a scripted show. That shit is not under contract when they say it. It is fucking fake.
allegedly?
It's 100% fake.
I know, but we have to.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, because that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Because like, well, for example, I mean, there's a YouTuber who's also a realtor, Stephan, makes finance content. I've always been a big fan. I think his stuff is really great, and I think he has like really great things to say. And he is part of Jason Oppenheimer. The Selling Sunset
Okay.
group, the actual like
Yeah.
office that the show's based around, and like they're all realtor, like they're all
The job's
all
real.
this- yeah.
Like, the houses are fucking real.
Yeah,
It's called
yeah.
real estate. They're real
Yeah.
property.
So you're saying you don't think like the deals themselves are actually the ones that
Fuck
end up
no.
Really? Okay.
Would bet
Interesting.
my license on
Really?
it, and it's
Wow.
how I feed my kids. All that shit is bullshit. And
Yeah.
if they show it on the show,
Yeah.
that probably took months in planning to get it to
Sure,
production
yeah.
for somebody to agree to say that it's under contract verbally on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in an escrow state like California, it's even more bullshit.
What does that mean?
It means that when you say it's under contract, you could just verbally say it's under contract. It doesn't mean you have a closing date. It doesn't mean shit. It means nothing. We've agreed to a deal. Tremendous. Who fucking signed what? Because I'm pretty sure you can't sign with your voice through a representative over a cell phone. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right.
And the whole potential commission on the bottom line, like the CNN ticker.
Yeah.
You don't know motherfuckers are charging everybody at that price
That's
level.
true. Yeah,
Not all
that's true.
commissions are created
That's
equal.
why it says potential.
Everybody thinks they know what we make, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because like there's so many probably ins and outs of like, okay,
don't
well,
know.
to get the deal done, like you
Yeah.
might change things or you might like whatever,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that is interesting. Massive amounts of money though, like for sure.
It can be, for sure.
in that kind of shit.
Absolutely.
I
Like,
bet.
so did you ever think like, because you started? How old were you when you started?
Well, I showed my first house when I was like 13.
Right,
I rode
'cause
a
your
bike
mom-
down the street. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
'cause
wife.
your mom had
my
her
wife.
own.
My mom.
Your-
Whoops.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Whoops.
Hey, ma.
Uh,
So I was always around it from when I can remember.
Uh-huh.
She started the brokerage when I was 6, and she took off. Like, just killer shit. 70, 80, 90, 100 homes a year by
How'd she
herself.
do that?
Wow.
Just knew a bunch of people.
No, she's just a killer. She knew nobody. She was
Really?
new to the town, which makes it like even
Did she
more
do
crazy.
the thing they always tell you to do, like just start doing open houses and shit like that? Like how did she meet?
She asked for the business back when that was appropriate. So like like when you go in to buy a car today, they say, "What can we do to earn your business?"
Yeah, right,
And that's a
right,
massive
right.
turnoff.
Yeah,
People
of
are
course.
like, "Oh, go
Of
fuck
course.
yourself."
Everyone hates that.
Well, she was doing that when it actually
Oh.
was not being said.
Gotcha.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding you.
Okay.
Her first sale ever, 40 some years ago, she gets her business cards printed. The lady hands them to her at whatever the printing shop was. She handed a card back and was like, "Would you like to buy a house? Let's see if these work."
Okay.
Bitch said yes.
Wow.
She took the card and was like, "Actually, I do.
Wow.
Wow.
I've been printing cards for realtors for the last blah, blah, blah years, and nobody has ever asked me that. I would absolutely love to see houses with you."
That's great.
That's
so that
crazy.
was her key to success.
Wow, can you imagine how like energizing that must have been? Like if that's your first,
It sparked 40
step in-
years
oh
of
my God.
maddening success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So yeah, so
Did she always do it for herself? Like at that time, was the law still that you had to hold your license? At
she
a
was
different-
with a partner for a
I
while,
gotcha, okay.
and then she did her own
Was
thing.
she was with a partner, or was she with another company entirely? 'Cause,
She
like,
was with a partner.
Yeah.
And then when she got too big, she went on her own
cool.
and did her own thing.
Yeah. Because you have to, your license has to be held by somebody, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you have a broker's license.
And is that what she got?
She had that like
From
year
day one?
3.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. So then you were just around it your whole life.
Entire life.
Yeah.
You
It
just
was-
soaked in.
It was the only industry I ever knew.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you soak in the good and the bad.
Mm.
Right? Because as for heart of a work ethic as my mom has, she doesn't say no to anybody. You want to see a house? Let's go see it.
That's you.
Miss a birthday party? Let's go do it.
That's you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to work on that, and it's hard. She's 71. Why is she showing starter houses in Frederick now? She doesn't need it,
Right.
but she's still saying yes.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword as far as what makes you successful and what takes away from like chilling the fuck out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean the worker bee people, just that's what you are, right?
Yeah.
Like you're that type of animal at a certain point, especially once you've done it for years and years. Like you can't get out of the habit. It's hard.
So here's a fun fact. So you were with your mom, it was part of her brokerage for many years, and
Yeah.
then you recently left.
Yes.
How did that go down?
It was fine because I basically said, "What's your exit plan?" And the minute she didn't have an answer, I was like, I'm going to go do some new things over here. And it was no water under the bridge and no fucking big
She doesn't
deal.
care.
No.
It's fine.
By no means.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you would. Yeah. I mean, it seems
Nice.
reasonable.
Yeah.
So, but by saying like she didn't have an exit plan, it's basically like you don't want to work underneath your mom forever and ever and ever. Is that kind of what the idea was?
It wasn't about underneath. It
Yeah.
was, I see the future on the wall. I see the writing on the wall for the future. And the zillification of this industry is adapt or die. The whole like, Gilbert's hosting a neighborhood open garage sale house for the whole neighborhood, and he's going to get 6 neighbors to sell with him that year because he's hosting that. Shit's fucking dead. You better be on the cutting edge of technology. You better be reaching all the different demographics. You better do a really good job. You better have a spotless online reputation and that kind of shit. And you better have some firepower behind you.
What does that mean?
It means that you better have branding and services and support to the tilt so that you can service the $10 million seller and the $500,000 buyer and everybody in between. And they know that if you're on vacation, they are being covered the exact same as if you were sitting next to them.
Okay.
I always wondered too, because like part of the thing that it's so interesting, and I'm curious like your take on this, because the way that the technology, for one, but also just like things that work online, like building audiences and that kind of stuff, and actually like getting people to pay attention to something. The thing, because I don't know, and this might be a fun fact for anybody listening. I, for about a little over a year right after I left college, I got my real estate license. Do you remember this?
Yes.
I got my
Yep.
real estate license, and kind of did it for a period of time. I was not very good at it because I was 22. I didn't know anything, and I was just like, how do I tell somebody I know how to sell their house? So it was kind of that thing. But the one thing that they always tell you to do is like, because what you're talking about, the firepower with the branding and the marketing, that sort of stuff, it's all stuff that when you're starting out, you kind of have to rely on whatever company you're a part of to sort of provide for you. But my thought process, even from that point, I was like, that's not going to work. Like, I was like, the company that I had gotten my license, with, or the company that held my license, the brokerage, I'm like, what do you mean they are going to we're going to market? Oh, yeah, it's part of the pitch, right? It's like, oh, so we're going to market your property. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, they're going to put it on the MLS and cool. What the fuck? There's nothing. I always just felt like the stuff that they were saying, like, oh, we have this big company and this big, all these resources. Like, for what? Like, they're not going to do shit. Like, they're just going to do what everyone else is going to do, which is just put it on the place, and that's it. So I'm curious, like, from your perspective, how are people doing that now, or at least, like, how would you...
Why would you sign up with a power broker?
More so, how are you actually going to take advantage of...
The firepower.
Yeah, like what do you even do in terms of marketing? Because I know, like...
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I've got 6 offices, 300 agents. I could sell every single one of my listings to somebody in my office without ever going live.
Okay, so volume of
that's massive firepower.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So that's
just being
big
able to
piece
tell
of it.
other people in your office about your listing who might have a buyer.
And it's truly I can't tell you how many people are. Oh, you're with Porchlight. I see their signs everywhere. That shit matters. You walk into a rec basketball league, and you're wearing shoes that nobody's ever heard of and look kind of weird, and you're gonna be like, I made these. People are gonna be like, what? You made those shoes? Whereas if you walk in with Nikes on, people think, oh, at least he gave a shit to put on some basketball shoes.
This is so funny. Okay, I got to tell you a story. So, not to get off topic at the moment, but this is hilarious. Okay, I wish Amram was going to be on the show, but he had to leave because you were so fucking late.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I was late.
But we've been having a debate with Amram because Amram has these dude. This is amazing. So Amram is going to a powerlifting gym. Do you know the gym he's going to?
Which one?
It's on. It's on
Armbrust.
Yes. Yep. That's
my former college middle. So I played nose guard.
Yeah.
The middle linebacker stands behind you. That man is Ryan Palmer. He owns Armbrust.
Okay, so
that's my fucking guy.
Okay, so then I don't know why Amram has
huge shout out to Armbrust.
Cool. So he's going to this powerlifting gym, right? And he's all about like I'm gonna do this, and he wears brown leather slip-on shoes, and.
Well, of course he does.
I know.
Because he's in onesies sometimes. I'm sorry, they're called rompers, not onesies.
Right. So he and dude, this is so funny because what are even the shoes called? I don't even know. They're
moccasins.
Well,
more or less.
Yeah.
They're basically
like clogs.
Clogs.
Yeah,
they're
leather
clogs.
clogs.
That's exactly what they're. They're clogs. And so Leanne was they.
You can't lift in those.
Well, it was funny because. Leanne and Amram play fight all the time. It's hilarious. But like she was yelling at him about these fucking shoes and the fact that he wears them to the gym.
That's
and
ludicrous.
the point because his point, and he's right. He's like they're shoes. They work. I don't know. I don't care. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. I'm like, you're saying something about yourself.
100%.
You're saying something. You're saying I don't know what I'm doing.
You fucking made my point.
you're like, it's like
you made my point.
It's this thing of just. I don't know enough to know that there's a thing that you do when you're into this.
You 100% made my point.
Yeah.
He might go in there and be really fucking strong. He's still going to be the odd man out, and it's weird that he's not wearing training shoes.
Yeah. And is that fucked up?
And let me tell you why. No, but
I don't know.
Let me tell you why it's not fucked up.
Okay.
Because if he steps wrong, if he stumbles,
Yes.
if he does something incorrectly, those shoes could ruin him.
That's true.
He steps wrong, he gets tripped. He's blowing his fucking Achilles out because he's not supported.
Sure, that's definitely possible.
The big brands, Porchlight, they support us.
There you go.
We're never going to trip and stumble with your listing.
Right.
We're never going to trip and stumble with your home search because we have the right fucking shoes on. And the shoes is our support system.
Dude, listen to this. Woo!
So we know how to go.
Yeah.
Because it's not just me in fucking clogs deadlifting, dude.
Yeah.
It's me in Nike Romulus powerlifting shoes, and the powerlifting shoes that are all the stability in my lift. That's the company I work for.
Hey, you know what we got to do? We got to get them to sponsor the show.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk so much good shit about them, let's fucking go.
I mean, they're fucking amazing. They probably would, yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but no, it was just so funny because we're giving Amram shit. No, like we don't. It's
fuck him. Who cares? We love. He knows we love him.
If he doesn't give a shit, then like.
Then he won't care about this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like Jay Morrow. Jay Moore, of all people, set me free from anxiety about 10 years ago. Somebody was telling him on a video that he didn't know was being taken about all the shit the other comedians were talking about him. He called me, looked at this bitch, and was like, what people say behind my back is none of my business, or they'd say it to me. And he walked away. That freed me of so much anxiety in my life to now when people tell me so-and-so's talking shit about you, I look at them and say, well, if they wanted me to know that, they would tell it to me, so it's a non-starter.
Who the fuck talks shit about you?
Oh, you have no idea. I am a love-or-hate type of wine, buddy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm spit it out or drink it down. That's what she said.
Well, they wouldn't say it to your face anyways, because they're
See, so it's none of my business.
Yeah, that's a good way to be free from anxiety, to be like...
Odd time pee break.
Ooh, already?
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit, dude.
I worked
We've
out.
only been
I
going...
chugged like a
Oh,
gallon
my
of water
God.
down here.
Oh, he's gonna...
Wiggle.
Watch this. Oh, this is good.
Camera wiggle.
We got a good angle of this.
No,
He's climbing over
pause
the.
the feet,
He's climbing.
dickhead.
He's climbing over the camera. We have these camera mounts attached to the wall, and poor Vinny's got to climb over them because he's got to pee fucking 8 times every podcast. But that's what happens when you're properly hydrated, kids. Wow. We didn't even start the show. Wow. This is episode number 5. Is that correct?
This is 5.
Welcome to Odd Time.
Hello.
This is the episode number 5.
Here we are.
Except apparently the episode's just, I don't know. Numbers don't matter.
Numbers don't matter.
But yeah, no, it's been interesting. We've been trying to figure out all this thing together. By the way, 5th episode in. For anybody listening, we're still not launched. So by the time this comes out, we've done all this stuff before we even announced the fact that we're making a podcast, and that's exciting. I never know how to like handle that sort of thing, like a launch. Like I don't know how to do that. I always hear people talking about like, oh, you should like launch. Announce it ahead of time, like months ahead of time.
All the hype, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
you need
I don't know
hype
how to do that. I'm bad at that.
Well,
like I don't know how to build hype.
We need a hype man.
The soap game?
Like this guy.
Soft soap.
Yeah,
socks.
the soap is out.
Unless they're a sponsor.
Let's go, soft soap. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, no. But I don't know. I've always been bad at that. Every time we release a product, every time we release like a new project, like I never do the hype thing. And I know that's like a part of launch, technically like what you're supposed to do. And it's just not something because I was saying like, this is the 5th episode. And by the time people are listening to this, it's a fun fact that like, hey, we're still not launched. Like, as we are recording this right now, nobody knows this podcast exists.
Yeah, we could just be in here with no microphones and do the same conversation.
Yeah, 100%. But it's 5 episodes
no agenda
in.
is what I mean.
With 5 episodes in, nobody knows still that this exists.
Yeah.
And so we're basically just going to put it out. So we've been figuring out all the distribution and stuff, which is fascinating. And I've never really done this with
And by the time anybody sees this episode, we will have some gist of whether or not anybody even likes this show.
Well, it's nothing. What is it? The whole you can never please everyone all the time. You can only please some people some of the time. Mm-hmm. Again, like the Jay Moore shit. You
spit it out or drink it down.
Yeah, spit it out or drink it down.
Yeah.
Nothing is for everybody. I was going to say one last thing about the sales piece of real estate. Everybody thinks they can do it. Everybody thinks it's easy. Go get your fucking license and try it. Because the bottom line is sales is not for everybody.
I can tell you that.
And it's just not. And people think, I can't tell you how many clients see my paycheck on their settlement statements and they fucking say, and then I get my license. I look them right in the fucking eye. I'm like, get your license. You can come work for me. And the ones that do, 20% of them actually do it. The other 80% fizzle out into abyss. And that is no knock on them as people. That is no knock on them as...
you're my backup plan.
As education. No, get your license.
I keep saying, no. For real, though, like... And in fact, this is a fun fact. I don't know if you knew this. Oh, my God. When I first started the channel, and I kind of, like, wasn't sure... Because, like, I don't know if anybody knows this, but on YouTube, the money for the type of content that I make is not great. Like... I could make a decent living just by myself. You can straighten it out a little bit. Pull it out. I could make a decent living by myself. I wouldn't make a lot of money, but like I'm talking just like ad revenue on YouTube in general. Not the best for music content. The CPMs, like if I made finance content, holy shit! Like the amount of money that finance dudes make on content just on ad revenue, because the ads are so much more valuable. It's insane. Like we're talking like 4 to 5 times the amount of money.
Well, and also your videos wouldn't get claimed every single time.
That's the other thing too. Is we're constantly dealing with these fucking copyright issues because nobody understands how fair. No, you know what? People understand exactly how fair use works. They don't give a shit. That's the problem. Is like because YouTube has provided this system where they can just do whatever they want, and like there's no consequence for doing that. So yeah, it's interesting. But I always say so in the beginning, before we came up with the idea to create the academy and launch that and kind of try to actually turn it into a real business. I was like, man, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I don't really know if this is going to be the thing that like, do I want to build a second channel in a different subject? Do I want to, and for a minute I was like, well, why don't I could also get my real estate license and make content surrounding that. Basically what we need to do for real. But I for a minute was like considering like, do I want to mess around with that again? And it's funny. So I didn't end up doing it, but,
well, we need to do that because it would
100%.
be so educational for people to see.
And nobody's doing it in Colorado.
That real estate is accessible, meaning I will show houses without a suit and tie and acting like I'm better than the people I'm selling it to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems I have with those TV shows is the realtors make it about themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I forgot to we went to breakfast the other morning, and there was this this woman walks in, and it's the type of thing where it's like immediately you're like, who's this, right?
Yeah.
Because like the whole pantsuit, name tag, all this shit, it's a realtor.
Of course.
And like sat down at this table with these ladies who were very clearly not on the same sort
Where
of
was
like,
this at?
level. It was at a fucking diner. Like
it was
like
a very, very
it felt so out of
hometown
place.
diner.
Yeah,
Funny.
it felt so out of place because here are these ladies, and they were older, and they were clearly like, I don't know, they were buying something maybe, but and she just came in and she was all dolled up and with her suit on and her name tag, and I'm just thinking to myself like, it feels out of place. And I know some people appreciate the professionalism, and that's fine, but to me, I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like that's not interesting.
Yeah,
to
some
me at
people
all.
need the role players of that shit.
to feel comfortable.
Yeah,
And,
I
okay,
can't tell you how
fine.
many times I've had people be
Yeah.
like, this is what you wear to work. And then I start talking. And they're like, oh, it's what you have to offer, not your fucking T-shirt.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and how much of that has happened over the last 2.5 years? Jesus Christ! With the whole thing of like, you mean the jobs can be done not from the giant office building that
Yeah, you
nobody
mean
wants to
everybody
go to?
that works at big offices doesn't have to look like they're going to play golf at
Yeah,
2?
right? Or
Like the whole tucked-in polo to slacks thing. It's like, why is that more professional than jeans and a T-shirt? I don't get it.
right.
Those guys look like shit.
Yeah,
in
because
those
the results
slacks.
of the
Yeah.
work don't matter. It's all
Yeah.
about how you look when you're doing
Yes.
it, right? Like,
Right,
that's
right.
it's. I don't. Yeah, that's
The pomp and circumstance. I've never really
It's
appreciated
never
that very
made
much.
any
You know
sense.
what's
I
funny?
zero appreciate it.
I mean, I lived in Japan for a long time. They're all about pomp and circumstance.
Yes,
It's
very
all
traditional.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to like. Well, it's just like
It's suits.
It takes a while to progress the timeline in Japan. They're like 10 years behind the ideas that are progressively
really?
happening in the
Oh,
West.
yeah.
In the West, like all of the time. They still have fax machines, so it's like and they're all still wearing suits all of the time. Same thing. Like you wouldn't find a realtor in Japan. I doubt it. Who would chill like you?
Same with London. Same with Spain. Same with Italy, places I've been.
Really?
I stop into local real estate offices just to check it out. Everybody's in a cubicle in a suit.
Does real estate
And then
work?
I'll be like, how many houses do you sell a year? And they're like, oh, banner year. We sold 9 as an office last year. And I'm like, I sold 41 as an individual. Yeah, it's wild shit.
Does
man.
does real estate like work basically the same everywhere?
No,
No.
way different,
Really?
and to a point where I wouldn't feel comfortable telling it how it works over there because I don't have a full
Sure.
grasp on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I was explaining to them that I just go find the house, sell it, get paid, they were mind-boggled.
Really?
Yeah, like
Or
there's
is it
no-
like so much more
that there's no
complicated?
intermediaries, that there's certain events that don't happen with attorneys present. Like they were mind-boggled. Like they kept saying that's the wild, wild west. That's what they kept calling America in general, the wild, wild west.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
'Cause it fucking is.
It's partially true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the whole salaryman thing in Japan, that's always
Yeah,
fascinating to me. But you had direct, I mean, you basically did that for a little
I
while,
did that
right?
for 6 months.
What's
I worked
like
The what?
in-
Salaryman?
Yeah, salaryman.
Explain, yeah,
is
just
like,
tell Vinny like
they even
kind of
say
what
it
the
in
idea.
Japanese, but they say the Japanese version. They say sarariman. It's the whole idea of just the dude with the suit and tie, and he goes to work
Okay.
every day. And
Yeah.
he's just the 9 to 5 office worker, or if it's in Japan, like 9 to 9. But
Jesus.
Is it like that's normal?
like it's normal for people to show up early and to be there late, and like if your boss is still there, you can't leave. And it's just like
That's a complete farce to productivity.
It's crazy.
It's a
the
farce.
worst thing.
You-
Even my Japanese coworker told me that.
You should treat work like a workout. The minute you puke, the minute you're too tired to do the last rep,
Get out.
fucking stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Because nothing else is going to happen that's going to help you. You're just going to fuck up and get hurt.
How much time is wasted in Japan with this setup?
Oh, most of it probably. Honestly, like the company that I first worked in, like I talked to several of my coworkers about this. I was just like, so Japan is known for their amazing efficiency and, like productivity.
With the most inefficient workforce
And it's
in the history of
they,
mankind.
They were like, no, we're not.
Yep.
We just waste a bunch of time.
Yeah.
Like that's what they said. They were just like, it's just a bunch of wasted time and like pomp and circumstance, and you're waiting because the boss isn't gone yet, and it's all just like, oh, the boss works so hard because he's there for 10 hours a day. It's like he exists in the building for 10 hours, but he doesn't do shit.
That's what this generation is figuring out, man. That whole thing about like our parents and their parents' parents,
Yeah.
like first one there, last one to leave. It's all bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
If I sit down and put my fucking nose in my computer and work, I can do more in 3 hours than I could do going to an office and fucking around with a water cooler for 10 hours.
Right.
It's just the
Yeah.
truth of it.
And didn't you
It's
say
true.
too, like that, like even after the boss leaves, if he says like, "Oh, we're gonna go get drinks," like you have to do it.
But yeah, it's obligation. Yeah, it's all obligation in
And
Japanese
beer
culture.
culture there is huge, isn't
Oh
it?
my god, everybody drinks.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like your
Tell me
workforce-
more about Japan.
Oh. As he cracks a cold one. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're obligated to go drinking, basically. Like
Yeah.
if especially if you're, it's called the senpai. The
Do
one
they drink
buddy
to
does,
excess,
like-
or is that an American thing? Because I'm asking that seriously.
No, I think that
Is it like less of a
Or
sport?
European thing, I guess.
I think more often they drink to excess than people in the West would.
Really?
Because I think it's like a snapback of a stretched like string.
It's like a
because
coping thing.
It's a coping thing, but it's also like, well, yeah, because like in Japanese culture, everything's so kempt up and like you're just like in your little shell because it's such a hierarchical society, and you can't say things to your boss that you could say to your friends, and like you have to say things in more, honorific ways and all these things.
What
and-
happens if you
And then
do?
when you drink, you just let loose, right?
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
So
What happens if you what happens if you I don't know, if you say something that, like you're saying, there's things you can't say to your boss that you'd say to your what happens if somebody just says the thing? It just makes everyone uncomfortable, or like
it's,
what?
It's weird. Well, but like most people don't do that. Like,
Well,
it
of
just,
course,
yeah, it just doesn't really happen. I mean, but like, I think that in certain work cultures, like there's more of a buddy relationship between the lower people and the higher people. But I think that for the most part, like you got to use those honorific language, pieces of language for your boss, and like it's just, I don't know. I think it's probably case by case, but for the most part, it would be really strange if you just started using casual language with your boss. Like, it would be so fucking weird. I think that people would just be like, I feel weird, and also scared that like, they
gonna
would
be,
get
like,
a talking
backlash.
to, or like a getting fired or something. I don't know, but like I remember saying things during my like internship that I was doing, and you could feel the discomfort in the room.
Yeah.
Because it's something that an American would say. Like, I would say like, oh, like I think my boss he said something about like I couldn't stay late one night or something. I was on an internship. I wasn't getting paid much.
Yeah.
I wasn't about to stay past the time that we pre-decided.
Right.
But he was like, he wanted me to stay late to do stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like I have something to do tonight, like I can't. And it was so palpably uncomfortable. He did this awkward laugh. He's like, you don't have time, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, I'm like, no, sorry, I don't, gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck this.
Good
Did
for
that,
you, dude.
Well, wait. Did that affect the relationship, like from there forward? Like, was it a weird thing?
Well, he ended up offering me a job in the end, so apparently not that much. But so he still liked me. That's because I was useful to his company and I could make videos. I could make professional
But
videos.
do you think there's a certain
But-
amount too of like them being like, oh, he's the American, like?
Well, that's the you can play the gaijin card, the foreigner card,
Yeah.
when you're in Japan,
Howley boy.
and
That's what they call it in Hawaii.
howdy boy.
Howley.
Oh, howdy.
Yeah,
boy.
when you're a white boy in Hawaii,
really?
you're not local. You're a
Interesting.
howley.
Okay.
Howdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
oh yeah, that's me. I am the white boy for sure. But
So
yeah,
like it almost
anyway.
like you get a pass because they're like, oh, he's the
Yeah,
he's the
some
American.
companies in Japan have actually hired foreign, like a white dude from America, specifically to say shit that Japanese people won't say to other people.
Wait,
Makes sense.
really?
And I'd
Yes,
be really good at that job.
specifically. Right, exactly. You would say whatever the fuck,
say whatever the fuck
you
I
needed
want,
to say.
yeah.
Because they're like, okay, well, all of the like lower in the hierarchy people, all the new peeps, can't say to the CEO guy that his ideas are awful.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
It's
they
like,
can't-
get the
they
American to
can't
do
say
it.
So like, if the American's like, no, dude, that's the worst fucking idea.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, oh, it's the white guy. Ah, that's funny. Okay. And
We'll
then,
take it into consideration.
and then it's out there
Yeah.
at least,
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
it's a thing.
fascinating. So here's what I'm curious about. Is there
That doesn't happen that much, by the way.
I'm not surprising, but like, is there some sort of connection between industry and how all this stuff, like I would imagine finance or like manufacturing, the whole salaryman thing would make more sense. But are there industries where it's like not quite the same, or is it shockingly applicable to a lot of work culture in Japan?
I think that on the whole, it's shockingly applicable.
Really?
To most things. Well, I mean, obviously, even in the service industry, like a convenience store, like you're still talking. You got to be like hella, polite to customers.
Do they wear suits?
No.
No. Okay.
But
Probably uniforms though.
Oh, it's all uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there's definitely the hierarchical structure even in the.
How much does that
the
carry
lower
over
stuff.
into just like walking down the street? I mean, with things like crossing a road, for example. Because, like, for example, like I always think it's interesting how in some places here in Colorado, voice crack,
Puberty.
yeah,
That's good.
I always think it's funny how some places here in Colorado, like, it feels like people will wait for the signal. And like I'm used to,
well, yeah.
More so like walking through New York.
Oh, dude, they'll have your hands if you walk past the signal in Japan. Like
Yeah.
they will. It
Is
is
that really?
Yeah. No.
People don't do that.
Total conformity.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about the rule following now?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, that's everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. No, everyone will follow all of the rules all of the time. Except for sometimes in Tokyo or something like that. Because it's like, just like any other country in any other part of the world, like the cities are a little bit more progressive on their shit. And also it's just faster paced and whatever. And so people will do it sometimes, but 99.9% of the time you won't see someone even in Tokyo crossing the street. Even if the road is like 5 feet fucking deep and there's nothing around you for miles,
They're waiting.
They'll stand there.
They're waiting.
Really?
They'll wait.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And if you do something like that, will you get in trouble, or will people just look at you like you're insane?
They'll look at you like you're insane. Like currently, I hate to get into like all this, but currently right now, here we are in Denver. No one's wearing masks. Like the whole COVID thing,
Right, sure,
has happened and
sure.
all that.
We beat it.
It's gone. It's done.
We beat it.
Doesn't exist anymore.
So they're still doing that in Japan?
And in Japan, you will get awful looks if you
Really?
don't wear a mask right now.
Oh, let's go.
Wow.
Let's do a
Yeah.
field trip.
Yeah.
That's so
Let's go.
fascinating.
Let's do a field trip.
You
Yeah,
go
right.
walk around
Yeah.
and just like have, because with your the
Teach me 3 words like thank you or phrases
Yeah.
that I can get by with, and then just follow
And
me
we'll
with the
go.
camera.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can we please do that?
You know
my
how
God.
I know you know how funny that would be.
Oh my
Because my
God.
wife spent time in Tokyo, and she's like, "You would be a dinosaur walking. You would be Godzilla walking through the streets. Not just size wise,
Yeah.
but how different I am
Yeah.
to that shit. Because
Oh
like
my
I am
God.
to say whatever I want, do whatever I want.
Yep.
Like as long as you don't hurt kids and hurt other human beings, you're probably fine. Don't steal, don't
ever
lie,
seen-
you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, they would." Think you're the greatest or the worst thing they've ever seen.
I think they would absolutely love you.
Let's
Like,
go.
Legit.
Field
though.
trip.
have
I mean,
you ever
like-
seen An Idiot Abroad?
No, but that sounds like Vinny abroad.
Oh my
Show.
god, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
We should do it.
They would think you're a sumo wrestler though.
That's okay
They
because
would
I kind of
totally
am.
use that.
So
Well,
it would be all right.
those dudes are like even bigger though, right?
Oh, they are bigger.
Like
Oh,
it's
they're
crazy.
500-600
They're
pounds.
huge.
I'm
Yeah.
350. They're fucking 600.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
That's only because
wild.
like normal people just like they're all just twigs, So in
Yeah.
comparison, they're like, oh,
Did you ever
sumo.
like go see that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
amazing.
national sport, man. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
going to a baseball game there for sure.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's-
It was
amazing.
crooked for a long time with the Yakuza. They were betting on it, and they were rigging
I
matches.
remember hearing that there was some,
really
like,
fucked
weird,
with the whole country as a
yeah.
whole. I'm not even understating that. It was a big shock to the whole cultural system when they found out that those matches were rigged.
Yeah.
Yeah. The what is it? What's the champion? Yakuza.
Oh, the champion sumo wrestler?
Yeah,
I know,
what's
we
it
could probably
called?
look it
I
up.
can't
but-
remember.
Yakazuma.
I can't remember the actual term for it.
Yeah,
You're
but
talking about the term for that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
what's the
Can't remember.
champion? What's the the sumo champion kind of name? I guess.
Yaka-
Like what is that person called? Yeah, no, that
Sumo
I
champion
remember. I
title.
remember like reading something about like that whole thing being like
Yeah,
really
rigged.
fucked up. Yeah.
Well, the Yakuza still has a fucking stronghold on that city, big time.
Yeah.
It's real shit. I mean,
crazy.
come on. They just call it the Yakuza over there. Here we call it the Clinton family. What did I say? Oh my god! What?
Oh my god.
Sorry, Dave.
Nobody heard
How do you
that.
say that, Dylan?
Yokozuna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yokozuna.
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 That's the grand champion.
yeah.
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 I
People-
remember like because I don't know any Japanese, but it was the one thing that you said that has stuck with me. Like when I read a word or something, is the whole thing about the first syllable usually being the accented one.
More than so in American.
In
When
American.
I speak American.
When I speak American, learn how to speak American.
When I speak anybody speaks English, we oftentimes accent the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Yakuza, but it's actually Yakuza.
Oh, Yakuza.
Yeah, right. So
Is that inappropriate for me to do accents?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
I don't really
I don't know
care.
anymore.
I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Well, I guess
don't
we'll
know what
find
the
out
rule is.
from the feedback.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
no. Anyways, yeah. By the way, before we get off the real estate thing, we've got more stories for you.
Oh, we got a nightmare.
Oh, please.
We've got more stories. This is I don't even know this one.
Let's talk about a nightmare.
Let's see.
This is a real estate story.
This is a real
I'll react to
a
it.
real client nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, half react, but also you usually have a follow up that's even better. Anyways, okay. So this reads, buyer, old people. Oh God, what is going on here? I feel like I'm having a stroke reading this. Buyer, old people, cash buy, new build. Okay, so they're just laying out details. Yeah. Already mad that they had to pay list price in this market.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to final walkthrough. These old fuckers were literally on their hands and knees marking every single spot in the flooring that was supposed to look like distressed wood.
That's called a blue mark. It's called a blue tape meeting, and it's when you walk into your new build before you close, and they give you a roll of painter's tape. And assholes will do the shit they're talking about right now.
Oh my
Normal
God.
people will just like mark holes. But yeah, it's called a blue tape meeting.
They wouldn't stop roasting the builder and questioning his work ethic. The man was in the room. And it got to the point where he goes, fuck you, fuck this. Tell me what you want fixed and I'll see you at closing. Jesus fuck, and storms out of the house.
I've seen that.
To preserve the relationship, I smoked a cigarette with him out on the porch after everyone left and apologized for their behavior. We closed. They're happy. All is well. Wow, that's unfortunate, honestly, that it closed and everybody's happy. You kind of want that to go sideways.
Can't believe
No,
that.
it's hilarious because the blue tape meeting is meant to be if you find a missing light fixture, if you find a missing light switch, if there's a crack in a countertop. It's to catch something bigger that you don't have to do warranty later for.
Not just like, I don't like it.
But I will tell you, 1 out of every 10 new build buyers does that shit, and they lose their fucking minds. And if you're one of those people listening to me, fuck you. I don't want to work with you. I don't want you to work with any of our agents.
Now that you're saying
off.
this, though, I actually specifically I saw a TikTok recently that was like, you open the door. It was this person walking through a house that the person had done that.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the? At first, I didn't know what
It's
it was.
wild, dude.
It looked like the house had blue chicken pox.
Yes, it looks like somebody sprayed blue tape everywhere.
I'm
Yes.
talking like every.
I
on the
have
wall.
had to tell someone my age and a friend, dude, you got to stop. What do you want him to do? Rebuild the house? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, you have to stop. Do you want them to knock this down and rebuild it? Because that's what it looks like you want them to do. And that's not reasonable. And he's like, well, then you mark it up. And we walked through the house, and I didn't pull that fucking tape out once. I was like, looks like a good house to me. People buy new builds thinking it's going to be perfect. And it's like, no
house is
men
perfect.
made this and probably really fast. And even if it's a big, expensive custom home, you're going to find something later that's fucked up. And hopefully they'll fix it and warranty it. But come on, man.
Hey,
It's
what do you
not a
think-
car. It's not something that was built by robots in fucking 8 hours and came cellophane to your house.
Right.
And even those have problems.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
it's the blue tape meeting is a trigger for me.
That's right. What do you think about? There's this TikTok where this guy, I think he's an inspector or something. He goes around with like a knife and he's like stabbing the house, and he finds like all these places where it looks like it's painted and finished, and the knife just kind of like goes right in because the wood's rotten.
I mean, that's probably somewhere where there's a lot of humidity, and he sounds like an asshole, to be honest with you, because
Like, how bad does something have to get before it's actually going to be like structurally an issue?
it would have to be a legitimately unlivable house to walk around with a pocket knife and be poking holes in every part of the house.
Right.
At that point, you just
Because
don't buy the
he'll go
house.
like tap 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 tap, and then randomly on like the outside corner of one, somewhere outside the house, like the knife will just kind of go.
I would want to know, what does he want to be remediated? Is it termites? What are you looking for with this shit?
I think sometimes it is. I think sometimes it's that.
You could probably have an easier way to test for termites than stabbing the house. And there's, you know what I mean? So I would question the motive of the person with the knife is,
I think
what
it's
is
for
your
the
end goal?
content, right? Because it's the
If he's
tidbit,
just
like-
creating content,
yeah.
then congrats.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
ooh, look.
Well, it got us to
look
notice
how,
it.
Yeah,
well, it's
great.
funny because then you wind up getting this sort of thing where all the comments are basically like, oh my god, every house
See,
is about to fall over.
it's hard for me to separate the art from the artist when it comes to content, because I don't know what their end goal goal is.
Yeah.
I am a non-alarmist. Let's get to the finish line if it makes sense for everybody. Everybody wins all the time. Real estate is not competition. It is fucking teamwork. So it is not a buyer versus a seller. It is a buyer working with a seller and agents working together to get everybody to the closing line if it makes sense. It's not competition.
No.
So that's, again, where those shows are so full of shit, it's not even funny. Everybody's fighting with each other. It's like, you don't fucking fight with... So let's fight and what? Blow the deal up and not get paid?
Right.
That makes sense, right?
Well, but I feel like sometimes either the buyer or the seller doesn't understand this, and they just want to extract as much as they can out of the situation.
Yeah, everybody becomes greedy in a sense, buyers and sellers, but the guy with the knife is like, what? Okay, let's say you're right. The house has got a lot of puncture points. What was the point of that test? What were you testing for?
And what do they
What's
want?
the remediation?
Yeah.
Is it livable? Or are you just walking around a house stabbing it? It's fucking weird.
That's what it looks like. He literally takes his knife, he's just like tap, tap, tap.
And then
tap,
commenters
tap, tap,
are like,
tap.
you could never trust any house with a knife. And it's like, wait, was it a termite-ridden foreclosure?
Right.
Then of course that would happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would definitely question the motives and what was the plan to fix it. Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Funny.
What's like the craziest thing you've found?
A
Like-
body.
Whoa, wait. Are you fucking for real?
Not kidding.
serious?
You're not kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. Nope.
What
And
the
I will,
fuck?
Wait.
And just for content purposes, I will exclude the
don't include
real
any-
emotional trauma it caused and the phone calls I made crying afterwards. We're going to excommunicate all that out now, so that people don't think I'm just a monster that was like, he's making fun of it, man. Right? It's not what I'm doing.
You're saying it fucked you up.
It fucked me up bad.
Yeah.
And to this
Okay.
day, I think
Okay. Of
about
Of course it did.
So
Hometown, right by my own fucking house where I grew up. This lady calls me up. Something's fucking weird, man. And it's like, it's not drugs. It might be a little mental illness, but there's just something about the way they called me. Something's weird. And I walk in.
was this somebody
They
trying to
called
sell?
me and they were like, we want to sell the house. We need to sell the house. My son passed away. It's a mess.
Oh.
Huh.
I walk in and it's just fucking weird. And so I start looking around the house and I try to go in the bathroom and they're like, you can't go in the bathroom. I'm like, well, I need to see if it's updated. She's like, oh, I don't know if you want to do that. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, maybe I don't. She opens it. Dude killed himself, was in the bathtub. Yep.
What the fuck?
So they had called me with such trauma that they didn't realize what was happening, I assume. And were like, the next call's a realtor. Yeah. And I was like, what? And like split, left. They still tried to list it with me. I was like,
wow.
I was still willing to help them because I was so worried about their mental health. It ended up going sideways and shit got a little weirder. And that's when I drew the line and was like, now we're done here. Like, I don't need to chase deals. But yeah, I walked in and it was like fucking dude took his life in the bathtub. And it was like awful.
How recently?
This is years ago.
No. I mean, like when you walked in.
I would say a day or two at least. Yeah. And I just saw an arm, blood everywhere, and was like, slam the fucking door. Or I pulled it closed and just split and was like, you guys gotta call the county. We have, they're on their way. And I was like, what the
2 days later?
Yeah. Well, maybe they found him then. I don't know. Right. Like,
Okay.
so yeah.
I got you. So, okay.
I think they showed
In a
up.
moment
I
of
think it was a
massive
destitute
trauma.
family that did a welfare check on a loved one. He was dead. They called 911, and in calling 911, they're like, we got to sell this house to cover his debts or something. And they called me. I was literally on the bus stop behind the fucking house.
Oh.
So I think they fucking called me, and I immediately came in and discovered it and was like, "Wah."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
So nothing will ever
shit.
top that besides an even worse death, I guess. But yeah.
Wow.
Then there's funny ones, but like, yeah, you asked for the worst, so thanks for that. Thank you for listening.
I hadn't even
on
finished
you.
my sentence yet, and he's already going into this. So don't blame me. No. Wow, that's insane.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
wild.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I can
Jeez.
understand the panic and trauma that they would be going through at that
She
point.
must have been 80.
Okay.
Like you're
She
just
must
like,
have been
I gotta do
80. She
something,
could barely
right?
stand up. She's chugging
so the-
heaters in the living room. She couldn't even stand up to greet me. Like there was something going on there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. Fucking weird, man.
oh my god.
Man, that's wild.
and that was right in your neighborhood.
I've been
you
to
said.
many houses where it's -5 degrees outside, and I'm going through the house to list it. And I walk in the garage, and there's a family living in the garage. Like they rent the garage out to a family. So I've got
Jeez.
that one. I got you, and that's multiple times I've seen that shit.
More than once.
Oh yeah, I've gone to houses, and we're not talking like everybody's like picturing meth shacks in their head.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like nice house.
No, nice houses where this shit happens. I've 4-bedroom house, 3 baths with 20 some odd people living in it, just beds and shit everywhere, and
How big?
they're all family. Again, not a meth shack, just a massive family.
How big a house?
Wow.
Maybe 4,400 square feet with 20 people living in it.
That's oh my god.
Oh yeah,
Woo.
many times makeshift like tent rooms in the back of the house, like tarps and tin roofs
Like
and shit.
off the back.
Like on the front, looks amazing. You walk in the house, it's just fine. Go in the back, and there's a family living in a tarp room.
What do you
on the back of
what
the
do you
house.
do about that? Like if they're saying I want to sell the house, like
Man, you be super respectful. You ask what the situation is. Can they go anywhere? It's going to be really hard to sell it this way. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah, there you go.
And at the end
like
of the day,
this might be a little bit of a
It's
hiccup.
like, oh, don't worry, the people come with it.
and I got some really good some really good advice early on in my career, and it was don't work with crazy people. And I know that sounds so easy to say, but the more business you do, you recognize the crazies. And if they say shit to you or if they're doing things that just don't make sense, not even different, not even just a little quirky, if they're doing shit that just doesn't make sense, they're probably fucking nuts. Steer clear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh my god.
Scary.
How many at this point? So you've been doing this for how long?
Oh, fuck. Over a decade, I guess now.
Do you have like a running tally on how many houses you sold?
Oh yeah, I have a spreadsheet with
Really?
every single house I've
you
ever
know what the
sold
number is?
in
Wow.
it was 10 years. Over 1,000.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So like, yeah, imagine the shit you see. Have you ever sold like, or probably also, working with a buyer too, you probably see some crazy stuff.
Yes, that's when you see most of the listing stuff is you spend more time in the house
Sure.
because the buyer side, you don't need to spend time in the house. If somebody asked me to come
Right.
list their house, I got to see the whole house. I'm going to spend my time, respect them. They called me.
Yeah.
Buyer's side, I've walked in and seen some weird shit and be like, yeah, this ain't us.
You walk in,
This
it's
ain't
like the
us.
Simpsons meme that we were just looking at, where he walks in, turns around, and walks out.
Oh, and the
same
funny
thing.
part is buyers think they're using your time, so they should walk through it. So you have to remind young buyers, especially, hey guys, we don't have to go upstairs. And they're like, oh fucking thank God, this place smells like shit.
So I actually have an interesting one. This is how dumb and desperate I was when I was 22 years old, because I had no money and I was didn't know what I was doing. There's a place in Schenectady, New York, that's notoriously the place in Schenectady you don't want to go. It's called Mount Pleasant, and it's
Irony.
yeah.
Not very pleasant.
Oh my god! And like it's the type of place that you feel like you're not even supposed to drive through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was this guy, and I have no idea what nationality he was. I didn't know his background or anything like that, but he was not. He was, I don't know, he was from somewhere, and so it was difficult to communicate with him because he didn't really speak English that well, and so I was, and I'm trying to. He wanted to buy something as a rental. He wanted an investment property, and so my first red flag should have been hey, maybe I just don't want to work with somebody who's trying to buy a rental property in Mount Pleasant. That might not be the greatest idea, because number one, they're going to be buying a house that's $30,000, and it's going to be bad. And I took him to see this house. I didn't know. I mean, here I am, my fucking privileged ass grows up in a beautiful part of the country, and my parents, we were fine, you know what I mean? We weren't rich or anything, but totally fine. I had a great childhood, and I just have this thing where I don't know what some other people have to go through in their lives, or how some people live. I'm just totally ignorant to that because I've never been around it. I haven't had, have never experienced something like that, and I fully recognize that. But I could not believe. We went into this house. First of all, it was just open. It was just, didn't need a key or anything, because most of the windows were broken in anyways. But when I say that every room was up to the waist in just shit.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was garbage or just belongings or just piles of broken furniture or clothes, the entire first floor of the house was like waist deep. You almost had to wade through the stuff.
Hoarders are real. Hoarders are real.
But the house was abandoned. It was like,
yeah, I'm telling you, man, I've walked
there
through
were probably
houses.
squatters. Like, I don't even know. It was just like, I've never seen anything like it.
I've
in my
walked through
life.
houses where there's a path to walk through the house,
And you can't get anywhere
and
else.
there's nothing else, just a path.
Wow.
Like, this place.
Newspapers stacked to the fucking ceiling. Pots and pans and dirty dishes where it looks like they just kept buying them or borrowing them and adding them to the dirty pile. Like, and they're totally normal, nice people.
So did you sell the house?
I did not even attempt to sell that fucking house.
You're like, I cannot help you. No, but it was like, I think one of the things that blew my mind is that it was evident that this house had been abandoned for some time, but the dishes were still
It's troubling.
dirty.
Yeah, it's troubling.
Because you're like, somebody just up and bounced. Like,
Dude, some of the sweetest people I know that I sold their house, I walked in to sell it, and they had laundry baskets full of beer cans everywhere. And I was like, why do you keep these?
what was the answer?
What do you mean? And I was like, well, there's beer cans in 12 laundry baskets all over the living room. And they're like, oh, well, we'll get rid of them eventually. Well, what are they harming now? And they were dead serious.
They didn't think there was a problem. It's just
Nope.
like,
Wow.
hey,
No way.
Here's a fun story. This is really stupid. I don't know why I didn't think of this or know this, but like when we first moved here, we collected cans and bottles. Everything we used, we were like, it was just, hey, put it in a bag and wait till it fills up. And we took the bags to grocery stores, and we were looking around, and we started going to different grocery stores, and we're looking around, and eventually we called grocery stores, and we're like, hey, where are your bottle and can returns?
Good luck.
And
Right.
they were like, what?
The fuck are you
They
talking about?
had no idea, and I was like, "Oh, they don't do that in Colorado."
No.
like that's
Yeah.
like there's only some states that
There's
you do.
so- yeah.
Because I grew up, in New York.
Yeah.
We always collected cans and bottles because you take them to the can and bottle return, and every grocery store has a can and bottle return.
Do you make any money on that?
You can. I mean,
Enough to buy some
it's
groceries
5
if you
cents
bring-
per thing.
Okay.
You know, and
All
so
right.
like
You bring
we used to
2
do it.
bags.
I don't know. We used to do it for like the fucking Boy Scouts. We'd do like a can and bottle drive. Like people did that for. I remember there were organizations through the school that would do that. They would do like a can and bottle drive. It was like a thing. It was just like a way to raise money.
Yeah.
So if you had your cans and bottles that you're collecting, because everybody collected. Oh, redemption centers, dude. So
Right.
this is a whole thing, right? There are places. In fact, there's one right at the end of my parents' road. It used to be a store, and it's not anymore. But it's a redemption center. So what you can do is you can go with your massive 55-gallon garbage bags full of all your cans and bottles, and you can take them to the special place and just do it in bulk. And they'll pay you out for it because apparently they get some benefit for
Yeah.
doing the recycling process. But I don't know how it works, but you can get the money from them, and then they'll take them and do whatever. And it's faster than just going to, because the can and bottle returns at grocery stores, you have to like individually, like one at a time. So if you have like, and when we were broke as shit, when we were like 21, 22, we used to do this. We'd go, and I'm talking, the car would be filled, the trunk, the back seats with just the bags of cans that we'd collected over a period of however long. And we would go and one by one feed them into the machine and get our 5 cents per can.
That's pretty
and
good.
that was like, and when you're broke as shit and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
if I can collect a couple $100 in cans, like that's my rent,
I
dude.
can go buy some Doritos.
100%, yeah, dude. But that's what we do, and so it was so funny. And I think about this because you mentioned the laundry basket full of cans, and I'm like, what the fuck are they saving them for? You can't even get money for them here.
You recycle
Yeah.
them here. That's it.
funny.
Yeah.
That's it. You recycle
That
them.
was so weird to
That's
me.
funny.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
But it was the fact that we must have looked so dumb, Leanne and I.
You looked like
taking a-
homeless people. 100%.
I did, but I didn't even think about. We
You look
walked,
like well-dressed
we
homeless people, which
walked-
Colorado has a lot of, by the way.
We walked into a Safeway with bags of cans and bottles, looking for the fucking bottle return.
That's Salt Lake and Denver, a bunch of good-looking homeless people.
And they just wasn't. It just didn't
Sorry,
exist.
unsheltered for all the people I just
And
triggered.
we like
Sheltered
literally
people.
just didn't know what to do with them. We were
Is that
like,
the new term now?
Yeah, how is unsheltered any fucking different than homeless? Are you
everything's
kidding me?
connotations, I guess, right?
I mean,
It's like,
am I unsheltered because I don't live in a shelter?
It's so
but you
bizarre.
have shelter.
I do have shelter.
I don't know.
It's just not called
I
a
have no
shelter.
idea.
I want to know why that'd be less offensive.
I'm not sure.
Jake's got some thoughts. He wants to tell everybody. He's got to get these off his chest.
There's 4 there.
There's 4 there.
Somebody
Okay.
did 2.
Well, these are here. You take those
Yeah,
two.
you
Those
take
are
2.
short.
Sweet.
All right. Well, you looked at yours, so you go first.
Let me introduce you to Misinformation, formerly known as Mrs. Information. Oh, because the Department of Misinformation. Divorced upon receipt of new and concerning information. Okay, so formerly known as Mrs. Information, who was divorced upon receipt of new and concerning information.
Oh my God! Well, would it
Oh,
still
that's-
be? Would it still?
Oh.
Would it be information?
Mrs.
Yeah, but if
Or Miss.
but if she's Mrs., then that would indicate that the information was pre-divorce. So it would go to Miss whatever it was before information. You might have fucked
Let's
that
ask
one
the
up.
author. I don't think you're that clever with that
I
one.
think you're looking to.
Am I looking too deep into that one?
Don't
Maybe I'm
question
looking
the
too deep.
thoughts. Don't question them.
If there's one thing I've learned this year, it's that with the assistance of drugs, you can do anything you set your mind to. Oh my God. Have you seen that meme of what I see taking an Uber home from the show, and it looks like the Tron world out the windshield, and then it says what the Uber driver sees, and it's a guy like this.
Oh my
That's
God!
beautiful.
That's good.
Oh no! Okay, here we go. Have you ever noticed that when someone says "I found God," no one ever asks, "Yo, where was that guy?"
Yo, I got a funny story. So I'm training MMA back in the day, and a bunch of these fighters like come in one day, and they're like, "We're giving our life to Christ, boys. You should join us." And we're like, "Cool, guys." Like, go
Wait, really?
JC. Yeah, oh yeah. And like they stop drinking, they start going to church.
These were people that had already been going that
Yeah,
you knew.
No, these were people that were not going to church at the time I knew them, and were partiers with all of us. And they come in like one day, and we're like, "We found Christ. You guys should join us on our journey." And we're like, "Yeah, could know." And so, a couple more people joined, and my homie, I won't name him because then it would tell the whole fucking story. Was like, you know why these motherfuckers keep finding Jesus? And I was like, why? He's like, because their wives keep going through their phones. And I was like, what do you mean? And there was a direct correlation between these fools that kept getting popped cheating, and they kept finding Jesus. And so they would cheat, get caught, find Jesus, baby. Get caught, find Jesus, baby. Get caught, find Jesus, baby.
Wow.
Yes,
Holy
it was
shit.
very
Yo,
good, dude. Yeah.
That's some real shit.
Oh, they were like, wow,
That's-
baby, I need God. And like,
No, but like there have been, and again, I don't want to talk about any specifics, but like, I mean, it's all public, so it's not like anybody doesn't know. But there have been cataloged examples of big YouTube channels that people who are whatever denomination, I'm whatever, it doesn't matter what denomination, but where this religious context usually stands as grounds for like, oh, I ask God for forgiveness and everything's okay.
Yep.
So weird.
Welcome
Yeah.
to being Catholic, brother.
Yeah.
And my grandpa
so weird.
my grandpa was religious, and he said this statement that always stuck with me. Very successful man. He said, anybody got to tell you they're Christian? Watch your back. And what he
that's
meant
interesting.
was,
That's
if
interesting.
they have to tell you what they believe in and you don't know them, meaning, hey, if it just comes up in conversation, there's some devout, that means they are going to justify every fucking thing they do to you moving forward. So if anybody's got to tell you what they believe in upon meeting them, watch your back.
Wow, yeah. And
Right.
of course, we obviously have to
the
clarify
excuse.
that it's obviously not all
No.
religious
No,
people
just the
by
ones
any
that
means,
tell you.
but yeah. Oh my God. But like, yeah, it's just, I've seen the wildest shit happens. Like,
All my opinions and
what was
commentary are my own.
there's the show, is it the Duggars? Is that a thing?
No, the Chrisleys, man.
No. There's
People
a
had
show.
just gotten the Chrisleys were doing that whole spiel of we give it to God and God's given us God gives us everything we need. Federal charges, guilty on all counts, facing 30 years yesterday
For what?
for bank fraud, tax evasion, and wire fraud.
Okay, not surprising, but not quite as bad as the Duggar dude.
Oh no, that dude was a fucking pedophile.
Yeah,
no,
because
no.
with all the child porn
Yes,
counts.
no, he was a pedophile.
But like the wild thing is like the family. It seems like half of the family. I don't know the because I've never watched. I don't know anything about the show, but it seems like the story I got was like half the family was like forgave him because he was like, well, God, he asked God for forgiveness or something.
Which
I don't know.
which
I don't
again,
get it.
there's truth to that. Like for those people that believe that, I don't blame them. Like they think
That's what they think.
he gave his life to Christ. And
genuinely
like,
believe.
okay,
They're like,
doesn't
okay.
mean
Right.
I have to forgive him.
By definition, they're saying, okay, well, he's absolved. Which is, but that's fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving away the power of forgiveness to some other unknown.
Well, you're removing
Thing.
all the responsibility
Well,
from
that's
the
what I-
individual to
that's
do
what I mean.
the right
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's so weird, dude. Like, wow, yeah, I don't know.
It-
That's a whole.
Did
bag
you
of
guys?
worms
You
that I
heard
don't
about the
wanna open,
Chrisleys
but-
though, right? The whole Chrisley
No,
thing?
I didn't hear
I
about that.
didn't-
I don't even know what that
didn't
is.
know.
Who are they?
Chrisleys. Can you Google
Is
Chrisleys?
it a show? Is it like a TV show?
It's like CHRIS. Chrisley.
LEYS or something.
Chrisley. Family.
I don't know. Chrisley.
Yeah, there you go.
Chrisley knows.
These fools.
Wait, is this the thing?
Yep, there you go.
Chrisley knows convicted of committing tax fraud, tax crimes. Oh, is this like a?
They were a reality
real
TV
estate
show
developer?
company. And everybody was like, what does he do for a living? And the number one thing I will tell everybody listening to the sound of my voice, and maybe it's just these three motherfuckers in here, nobody else. If you don't know what someone does for a living and they are rich, they are doing something illegal.
Yeah.
There is no other way around it. If you can't explain what they do,
Yeah.
it is drugs, people, or crimes, or all three. I had a homie I grew up with. Dad had a lock on his mailbox, a pool in the backyard. He was like 6 houses down from me. We would ask him constantly what his dad did for a living. He could never really explain it. One day the SWAT team flies in with a helicopter, kicks his fucking door, and I think the dude's still in prison. He was stealing socials of dead people and opening mortgages and pocketing the cash, and that's how he bought the jets, the house, and the pool.
Whoa.
So I'm
Holy
telling everybody
shit.
right now, if you are in bed with someone, physically or literally or metaphorically, and you don't know what they do, it's fucking shady.
Wow.
Because you asked
That's
me how do
wild.
you do what you do? I sell houses. How do you do what you do? You create content.
Yeah.
Very easy to answer.
Yeah, right.
It's not when people start saying shit like, well, a lot of things, a lot of drugs, a lot of weird. Like, come on.
So that was a weird thing. I had to kind of get a little bit more comfortable saying that because it feels odd to like when somebody's. It's not like I get the question a lot. Like when somebody's like, "Oh, what do you do for work? Like, what do you do for a living?"
It's odd for everybody that's self-employed, man.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It just felt strange to be like, "Oh, I'm a YouTuber," because then that is. I don't know.
get it.
Then there's a whole other list of like, oh, what does that mean? Or like, oh, then there's so many questions about that, or people are because it's not something like you generally encounter
Totally
that
understand
often.
that,
So
yeah.
it's but I've become more like, oh, I'll just respond.
That's because
to
the
that.
more successful you get and the more you've done it, the more you don't really care what people's reaction is to it. I used to like not really love to tell people that I was a licensed agent because there's 41,000 of them in Colorado.
Are there really?
41,000.
Yeah, but how many of those people have like never used their license?
85% of the business done in Colorado is done by the top 15%.
Yeah.
So it's literally flipped. It's
Right.
that
Yeah, yeah,
heavy
yeah.
in those of us
But that
that do
makes
the business.
sense. I mean, that's like with
But it
everything
still
else.
doesn't change
Yeah.
the fact that everybody's fucking niece, cousins, mother, brother's teacher is a fucking agent.
Yes.
There's a fucking teacher, man, at one of my kids' schools, and he has all of his pictures all over town. It says agent for life. You're a fucking teacher, bro. Yeah. What do you mean agent for life?
Really?
Are you my kid's fucking teacher or are you an agent? Because I can tell you right now, I ain't got time to teach, motherfucker.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
which
yeah.
are you? You agent for life or you a fucking teacher? Because you can't be both.
Right.
It should say part-time agent, great teacher. I respect that. If he got his hustle on that way, I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
Agent for life?
Yeah.
Bitch, you can't answer your phone 9 to 3. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? The fuck out of here.
No,
with
that's exactly
That drove
it, though,
me
right?
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
as somebody that I don't get paid, I don't eat, I don't do anything unless I sell houses.
Yeah.
For somebody with a pension and a salary and watching my kids saying agent for life, no, you're not. So what?
That is
Yeah.
No,
hilarious.
I remember you. That was one of the things you were saying, like when we first met and talking about the work and everything, and you were just like, you cannot do this job part time if you want to be at all successful
Yes.
about it.
Right,
you can't.
right.
But I think that's true. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like that's true with what we do. Because I'm thinking, you know,
No, you got to be all in.
like realistically, like for the last, I don't know.
Look how hard it was to
2
get me here, and I'm not saying I'm some big shot. It's because I don't eat, sleep, and breathe this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I had to put something else as a priority before this.
Sure, of course.
I'm not going to go make $1 billion being a YouTuber because it's not what I eat, sleep, and breathe.
Yeah, sure.
You're right.
That's it has to be that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like your text was perfect when I said, like, you're like, bro, this is our job. We'll be here when you get here.
Yeah, well, that's what
That
I think. I
was
was
brilliant.
like, we're not going anywhere.
It's like
we
when
work
people
here.
say, it's like
Yeah,
when people,
that's
it's like when people
literally the
text
only
me and they're like, I'm so sorry we sent 9 for Sunday. I text them back. It's kind of my job. I'll show you all 9 houses. It was the same answer. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, and
Totally.
that's definitely it. But especially in the beginning, before there was a question of like, okay, will I be able to make enough money to like do this? Number one, do this full time, but also when I brought Jake on, like to do it and be able to pay somebody else as well.
Yeah.
And like, cause I really needed that help that he brought. And like, it was an interesting thing because part of me for a period of time would look at the amount of time that we would spend actually being productive and actually like making the shit. And I'm like, man, I could also take the credentials that I've built up by having done this and having, now had the experience of being able to walk into a company and be like, hey, I know how to build this shit. Like, do you want to be successful with content? And like maybe get a job doing something like that. And I used to like look at how much time I was spending and be like, I could also have a job. But if I had done
Not
that,
really.
No,
Yeah.
no. If I had done that, what a fucking disaster that
It would have been a disaster.
It would have been a
Right.
disaster.
And I have people tell me, they're like, look, this is the market. Everything's selling on fire. Why wouldn't I just use my niece? Like, I know she's got, she's a full-time data replicator at a big company, and she does this on
What's
nights
your
and
answer to
weekends.
that?
Let's debate. Get her in the room with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's see who you want to use after that.
Interesting.
And if I don't want to be that aggressive, it's simply, how about this? Forget about that. Let me go through my presentation, and at the end, you can make an educated decision. And I win 100% of the time.
'cause
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
They make more money. The transaction is smoother. They're not waiting for calls back. And at the end, it's wow. It's kind of like you're a full-time guy. Wow.
Weird.
Like almost like you do this for a living.
that.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting too because from somebody who doesn't give your presentation to potential listings, one of the things that I always feel is beneficial, like with somebody like you, is and I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago, the fact that we sold a house through you and some shit went sideways and we didn't even know about it.
That's the
because
key.
because you just
Yeah.
did it. You just took care of it.
The number one
And
thing
like,
I notice with part-time realtors is when I can't get an answer out of them from their sellers or buyers, I realize they're too scared to confront them. Like, they don't want to bring bad news back to their buyers or sellers because they probably already got this gig because they were just somebody's friend or niece or nephew. And I have to then work around that without embarrassing them and showing them up, without blowing the deal up. So I have to do two people's fucking jobs. And realtors love to say that, by the way, like, I did both people's jobs. No, really, sometimes you do. So that's a whole nother aspect of this is, I didn't want to let that happen to you and let the shit blow up, but it was also like more to that than would have even been like, why would I heap that on your lap? Hey man, this is what I'm dealing with. You shouldn't sleep tonight too.
right.
Right. That doesn't fix
Like
anything.
until it becomes a problem. It's like
Until
why?
it's something
Yeah.
I can't solve.
Yeah.
Otherwise I will hold my breath underwater until I can't breathe anymore.
Right.
That's the name of the game if you're good.
Yeah.
If you're not good, you tell everybody everything.
So
You chat for a minute. I'm gonna do this one again.
I'm curious.
He's got to poop.
He's got to take a massive shit. I'm curious, like, what would you say the percentage is in terms of like when you work with another agent that you maybe don't know, or maybe you do know them. I don't know. How many people in the industry that you're doing a lot of work with are near your level in terms of like knowing their shit?
It's funny you say that. More than you would think because
They're doing all the work, 'cause you said
yes,
85% of the work, 15% of the
We
agents.
see each other's
Gotcha.
names so much.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I did
'Cause
that
you
deal
know they-
last year on
'cause you
Sheridan
know-
with that person.
Right, you know they know their shit.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
more than you would think because of that fact.
Do you get nervous when you see a name you've never seen before and you're like, oh boy?
At first, I look them up immediately, either Broker Metrics or HomeSnap. I see how many houses they've sold.
Okay, yeah.
And I take it two ways. They either are so green, they're going to be sweet, and we're all going to do this together, and they might learn something from it. Or they might be just super talented and kick ass, and it's like they do all the business, and they're just getting started.
Interesting.
Or they do just enough business to fuck things up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like they've
Yeah.
done enough that they think they know some shit.
And again,
like,
just for everybody listening, I am not saying I'm for everybody, because I'm not. There are people that will listen to this that think I would never work with that guy. Then don't.
Right.
Don't even
Yeah.
fucking interview me. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Right.
And there's other people going to think, wow, he thinks his shit don't stink. It does. And it stinks a lot. And I am not fucking perfect, and I
Well,
do
what-
make mistakes.
Here's it. Okay, what's the biggest mistake you feel like you've made?
I honestly can't answer that because I don't know what kind of legal shit I'd be putting myself
gotcha.
into.
Yeah.
And it's not being a douchebag.
Yeah, no.
It's that I don't know if the fuck up was actually harming somebody and illegal and I could lose my license, or that was just a mistake.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
And just to be clear, any mistake I've ever made that was beyond the scope of that, my clients knew right away.
Sure.
We either corrected it with more documentation or nothing was like, I fucked up. Better not tell anybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
You gotta
imagine
be
that's a
upfront
very
about
fast way to
in
get
this
fucked.
industry, if you do enough business, if you lie and fuck up and you try to cover it up, it always comes back on your lap. You cannot hide from that shit.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear. I don't think I'm that cool. Like, I really don't. I don't think I'm the shit. I just think that for a certain
All the people in Japan would, though.
let's go, because I will sell them houses.
That.
I just
That's
think
happening.
for certain people that like the way I work, I'm a really good fit for them.
Yeah,
but I am not
absolutely.
for. I had a major brokerage in Denver basically call me a strip club Italian and not fucking hire me. Have I told that story?
No, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah, so I was being recruited, and so I was like, fuck it, let's go take the rounds. And I went and interviewed in their big fancy office in Cherry Creek, and I did all this shit and literally told I was hired, walked to the front to collect paperwork. We're going to start doing the onboarding process. Motherfucker ignores me for weeks. And finally I'm like, fuck you, I'm taking this gig at this other company. And he was like, yeah, I just had pause because you reminded me of a lot of my cousins on the East Coast. And I was like, stop right there, man. You're basically calling me a strip club Italian, which is a derogatory term from the East Coast that, like, you're either like real Italian, which is like fancy and fashionable, or you're a strip club Italian, like a mafioso dude, which I didn't take any offense to, really. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But he basically said, you're not for us. You're not fancy enough. We don't want you, even though I did more business than 90% of the people in his fucking office. So I was told no. So I took the other gig, did more production than I've ever done in the last 2 years, opened new offices. Everybody loves it. It's all going fucking great. And now we're starting to poach people from that company, which is
Hey,
extra
there you
fucking
go.
great.
There you go.
And we're not
Yep.
poaching minnows. We're poaching fucking big mouth bass.
Nice.
It's fucking awesome.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'm not for everybody, and I don't think I'm that cool. Just everybody knows.
Wow, it's
but
almost like some
Wow.
people just
Yeah.
don't like to make money. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
I'm not for everybody, man. I'm
Yeah, but a
really
whole
not.
company like
Well.
ignoring your book. You know what I mean? Like,
It was a little. I will say that when the people that hired me heard that, they were dumbfounded. Like, we'll just park you in a corner and don't invite you to social events. But like, take the fucking book. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Oh
Or help him grow, curate it
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
want it to be, coach him.
I just don't understand that.
that's so
Well,
insane.
we drink Vinny here.
yeah. We
I
swallow.
like that.
We do.
swallow.
Oh no! That's terrible.
Oh, damn.
Speaking of swallow, do we have a couple misconnections?
wait,
We should do
I
this.
haven't done mine yet.
Oh, you've
Oh.
got another thing. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't even
All right.
know.
One more of Jake's thoughts. Did you know that in South Korea, tattoos can only be performed by a medical professional? That's great. I've always wanted to be in a doctor's office and go, thanks for everything, doc. It's going to be a long journey getting over this illness, but I'll do my best to stay strong. By the way, could you etch piss here on my asshole?
Is that true? Is that actually a
It
thing?
is true.
Really? South Korea can only be performed by a medical professional?
Yep. So it's basically.
I wanna go
illegal,
there.
but-
I really want to go. I have an affinity, like a weird affinity for South Korean
Really?
culture. Yeah,
What do you want to go see?
the women. What?
I mean, is it the K-pop girls?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Good
You're
to
not-
know that I'm not obsessed enough to know the label.
That's yeah.
It's not. I don't think it is. Are we talking like pigtails and schoolgirl shit? Because I'm not into that
no,
shit.
No, none of that stuff. No.
What did
they
I
have
just
that
say?
in Japan, though. I mean, they have like the maid cafes. You know what the maid cafes?
Sounds dirty.
I've been to one. They make you like an omelet with rice in it, a little ketchup on there, put your name on it, give that to you, give you whatever you want if you want a beer or something like that. And it's just a bunch of relatively young women dressed up as maids.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
dance on a stage for you if you pay for the show, and yeah.
That sounds incredibly awkward.
That sounds
It's-
very weird.
I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
My coworkers
And I'm
took
a
me.
dog, and that sounds fucking uncomfortable.
My coworkers all took me because they were like, Dylan's got to go see this part of Japanese culture, you know? Like, we're just going to take him out to the strip club. I mean, the
is
maid
there
cafe.
is there
It's
is
not
there
a strip club.
is there like a
It-
lost in translation component to the culture? Like, is it weirder for us for some reason than it is
No, I think it's still weird to most Japanese people. There's like a subculture. Of
Okay,
people
so
who
it's
are,
not
like,
mainstream.
way into-
Yeah.
No, it's not mainstream. It's just that there's a lot of them. Like, there's a decent amount. Like,
Wow.
But it's like
We're talking shit, and we have Hooters where high school girls wear fucking
God.
sport pants
Yeah.
and serve hot wings.
But you can't pay for a show.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It is just a
Yeah,
restaurant.
they have like all the lights and the fancy stuff, and like
Wow.
the song plays over the loudspeakers and everything.
So how similar is it to like a strip club?
There's none of that shit.
okay.
that doesn't happen.
I
But
no
it's
snipples.
none of that, and I don't think that anybody's like cop and feel or any of that like
Right.
creepy stuff either.
There's
It's
no
just,
like rooms in the
it's
back
just-
or anything
yeah.
like that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
So
it's
wait,
just-
how did you get talked into that? Like,
well, I had to try it.
yeah.
They were like, yeah, they were just like, we're gonna take you out and get you a drink and an omelet, and you're gonna sit there and watch these
And an omelet.
girls in
A
maid
drink
cafe.
and an omelet.
Yeah. I was just like,
That's
okay.
super weird.
Yeah, it was really.
I'm not gonna
it's-
lie.
It's
That's
really
kind of strange.
very strange.
I mean, hey, props, but like,
It's, it's worth a try.
it's worth a try.
That's all I have to say.
Okay,
What do we got here?
it's good family entertainment, right?
It, I wouldn't bring my kids.
Yeah,
but
well-
you know,
Bring the grandparents.
Sorry, I got one text, guys.
No,
One
you
text.
good, you
Well,
good.
we're gonna pass out these misconnections.
Yeah, we're-
in fact, so these are both.
So we got
let's
two?
see. It looks like we have two. So let's do
okay,
this.
you guys do them. It's fine.
No.
Yeah, let's do two. Let's do it.
I just read the headline for one. I can't. Don't look at it yet.
Oh,
Okay,
All right, so Dylan, you start.
let me start. Okay. All right. So wait, we have to start. We have to get
Okay.
better about introducing the game. So we have misconnections.
Yes.
Anybody who hasn't seen the show before, basically, we have one misconnection that's real and one misconnection that's fake that Jake wrote up, and we have to guess which one is real or fake. So.
So
right.
far, I think Vinny has the best record.
Yeah.
You've only missed
two.
You've only missed
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still salty about the prosthetic getting knocked off one. I'm still pissed.
yeah,
about
that was wild.
Go back and
I
listen to
cannot believe
episode
that.
4.
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
quite
fucking
eventful.
wild.
That was
Yeah.
last episode, right?
Yeah, that was last episode.
Go
It
back
was
and
right,
listen.
Yeah, right at the end. Just
It was a good
It's
one. All right, what do we got?
all right. Does mold turn you on?
Okay.
Do you like to get down and dirty around decay? Do you want to fuck among some fungi? The title says it all. I'm just a cold babe living a moldy bedroom looking for a lady. Did that make any sense? No, it didn't. The jury's out on whether or not this musty love nest might be hazardous. But what's the fun in doing it without a little danger? The mattress isn't directly on the composting carpet, so while you won't be manhandling the mildew, you'll still be having sex while swimming in spores. You bring a jacket, I'll make a mixtape. I'm hot to trot and surrounded by rot.
Fake. Fake.
Oh my God. Hey, if you did write this though, that's brilliant.
Fake.
That is phenomenal
This is
writing.
Actually fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? Read that last sentence again.
You bring a jacket, I'll bring a mixtape. I'm hot to trot and surrounded by rot.
Fake.
I'm going real on that one, but it all does
Wait,
depend.
I'm going to leave my guess for
It depends on what
once
we've got
Vinny's-
over here.
Once we hear Vinny's.
All right, what do we got? What's this one?
Stuff me.
Wait a minute. Can you read that again?
Stuff me.
We need that voice for the Dear Vinny
Oh
thing.
my God, that's going on the soundboard once we get that shit up.
I'm looking to get stuff. No, this is not an innuendo. I'm looking for a real taxidermist to literally stuff me with cotton and preserve me. We can talk about it, but I would like my body to be posed in a seductive pose. I'll say up front, I won't be able to pay in all cash, but I can eat your ass if you want, and I would appreciate no prying questions about this. Send me samples of your work, and I can see if it's a good fit. Serious offers only. Real.
Oh my
Real.
God.
Real.
Holy, we can't crumple them up because
That's fucking
we're
real.
gonna make a book.
Oh, well, fuck it. I'm sorry.
We can put it
That's
again.
real.
So wait a sec. By the way, that delivery deserves a fucking Oscar.
That was
you
literally the best.
had us like you have this whole thing stuff me, and then it's all of a sudden it's just like, no, I'm talking about taxidermy.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
Let's go get samples.
Let's literally get stuffed. Oh my God.
You're
up.
That's well. Hold on. We got to do
That was
those two
beautiful.
first. Okay.
So,
So,
yeah,
Wait,
okay.
so these two
wow.
are...
Okay.
These two.
One's real, one's fake?
Yep.
He took
Mine's
notes.
real, his is fake.
He took notes
Yeah.
because those were good. Those I have no idea where to start on that one.
I want to say the taxidermy one's real too because people are into that weird shit.
Yep, and the way it was said is like legitimately, I can see that.
Yep. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Let me see this. Let me see the first one.
This one.
So the sentence,
Again, I
I'm
think the
hot
writing-
to trot and surrounded by rock.
The writing's too good on that one.
Yeah, but hot to trot, I don't think that's something you would have written.
which
feel like
means he wrote it. I'm telling you.
I mean, Jake's getting more crafty. And
He is getting more
we were
crafty.
talking the other day.
This is hard.
He was like, I got to be more careful now because you guys are
yeah,
going to get him.
we were figuring him
So-
out. Oh, you really fucked this one up.
Sorry. I ripped it somehow.
No, this is
It
not
got
an
him excited.
innuendo. I'm looking for a real taxi
Which
driver.
one? Real or fake?
I think Jake wrote. No, wait.
You
I
just-
think Jake. I'm going against you guys.
You're just going against the grain.
What's
I
the
have
deal?
reason. Hold on. I think Jake wrote "Stuff Me," and I think that "Does Mold Turn You On" is real, and you guys think "Mold Turn You On" is fake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So I wrote "Stuff Me."
Oh,
Yo! Yes!
shit.
You purposely put bad punctuation, you son of a bitch. You fucking asshole. You
learning,
did,
I'm
didn't
learning.
you? Yeah.
Hey, but that was a good pickup.
Do you
though.
like how I pay close attention to that shit?
Yeah.
Literally, it was the sentence, "I'm hot to trot and surrounded by rot." I'm like, I just don't know
Damn
that
it.
you would
I
have
never
written
would've
that.
thought of that.
Yeah, the hot to trot, specifically hot to trot.
Yeah,
You see all the fucked up
yeah.
punctuation in that?
Yeah, this is actually great. You did
Yeah.
a great job.
That was a
on
good
that.
one,
Yeah.
though.
Like,
That was really well
terrible,
written.
Great job.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
this-
wow.
That's beautiful.
So that's
Yeah.
another loss on your record, motherfucker.
man.
Hell yeah. Okay.
My record's already fucked, so it doesn't matter for me.
All right, so there's two good ones here. I'll give this one to you, and I'll read this one. Here we go. Let's start. Long wait at the barber's. Okay. I had a haircut scheduled for 12:30. Showed up right on time. Barber was just starting a haircut on another client. Whatever. Don't mind waiting for a few minutes. About 12:50, the barber is finishing up this dude's haircut. Thank God. My turn. I close Plants vs. Zombies on my Switch and get ready to get my hair done. As I put the rest of my stuff away and look up, the barber's taking out his razor to be getting a hot shave on the guy. Oh my God, now I have to wait even longer. It gets to be 1 o'clock and he's finishing up the shave. Finally. I put my phone away and start to get ready. But then the barber fully reclines the chair and has the dude flip over on his stomach and take his shirt off, and he starts giving him a deep tissue massage. What the fuck? It's now 1:15 and it looks like the massage is winding down. What does he do now? The barber takes some needles out and starts sticking them into the dude's back and head. Dry needling at the barber's? By the way, no one else is in the building. I'm just awkwardly watching this unfold. About ready to leave at 1:45, but the barber finishes and calls me over as I'm about to walk out. At least I'll get the full treatment, I think. Nope, he gives me a shitty fade that took 10 minutes and kicks me out. Any barber recommendations in Detroit?
That's real. That's real.
That feels really
Yep,
real.
that's real.
That does feel really real. Wow, that's so convoluted for asking for barber recommendations. Like, what a story. Jeez.
Ready? Intense, passionate driver. I saw you today, driving a black SUV down Bastion. I couldn't help but be drawn to your skillfully maneuvered fingers as they plowed through your hairy nostril. The intensity made me think of a little dog humping a leg of some oblivious dementia-consumed grandfather. The way you were digging in your nose made me want to call 911 because I knew you were causing yourself some sort of brain trauma. But I knew you were okay once I saw you pull your chubby little finger out from the crevasse in your face and stare longingly at it. You studied your boogers with what seemed like an eternity, and then when you could not resist it anymore, the urge to jam your snot-filled finger into your mouth consumed you, and you ate your booger. You closed your eyes with ecstasy as you let its slimy grossness consume your soul. Okay, dude, seriously, it's fucking gross. I pray I never have to come in contact with you or your booger-eating ass again. Bon appetit, booger eater. You wrote that. You wrote this.
Oh my God.
Okay, wait a second. What do you think?
No, I think. Wait, okay. We got Booger Boy,
Booger boy.
Barbers. Yeah, I think Jake wrote the Barbers.
You think Jake wrote barber?
Yep.
And you think Booger Eater is
Real.
Real. The only thing, okay. Baston is giving me problems here because
Why?
because I don't know that he would have come up with that specific name.
Where is
especially-
Bastion?
Especially the way that it's spelled, because it's like Cologne. It's like the city. It's kind of spelled the same way. So like, I'm with Dylan on this one. Long wait at the barbers is real. What do you think?
I think
No. I said Long Way at the Barbers. Jake wrote.
Booger Eater is fake.
So you both think Booger Eater is fake?
No, I think Booger Eater's real.
He thinks Booger Eater is
I
real.
think Jake wrote this.
Jake wrote the barber shop.
Okay, right.
Wait,
right.
no, Jake wrote the Booger Eater.
You think Jake wrote Booger Eater?
Yes.
We both think that Jake wrote Barbershop.
I wrote Barbershop.
God damn it! You are 0 for 2 today.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You're losing your touch.
Damn it!
What is it? What's going on? Oh my god!
There we go.
Wow.
Fuck, man.
All right.
All right. Well,
Poop
Well,
butts. Fuck butts.
add it to the list, boys. It's another solid misconnections entry.
We should put the crumpled ones in the book as is,
There you go.
just so we know which ones.
Which one's pissed Vinny off?
Pissed off
Yeah,
Vinny.
which ones he got wrong. They're all crumpled
Yeah,
up. There was
crumpled
another
up.
one that
Oh.
got crumpled
Stuff
up.
me.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god.
Stuffed me. Oh, I love that.
Oh, anyways. Oh, all right. Well, we should probably wrap it up on that note because
Cheers.
Yeah.
can't get any more.
Are we
can't get
cheersing?
any more
think we
disastrous than that.
should.
We're definitely cheers. But be sure to. So we've got all the socials now, so we can be like, follow us on social media at Odd Time Show everywhere that you can find social profiles, and then the mic is just slowly disappearing underneath the table. Oh, that's gonna do it. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Cheers,
We'll see you
boys.
next time. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Bye.
That was good, guys.
Cool.